Hello, and welcome to another B&T unboxing video. Today we're taking a look at the Retrode, a USB adapter that allows you to dump the ROMs off of your Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis cartridges. We'll take a quick look at the device itself, and I'll go through the steps on how to actually get your ROMs off of a cartridge. First, we have the box. This box is in quite a rough shape, as you can see. That's because I've had it for a while and been opening it several times. So as you can see, some nice graphics. The unit itself is what's pictured on top. And got some specs back here. It says 4 different types of game cartridges, but it's really Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Sega Genesis, and then Master System. So it's really 2, but depending on where you lived, different names. Region free, so there is that. So I guess you could say it does 4 different types of games. And then it has controller ports, 2 different control ports on the front that can also be used. So we'll open it up, take a look at it. It comes with a little manual instructions, and it shows the other adapters that are available, or they call them plugins. You have the N64 plugin, the Master System, and the Game Boy plugin. Those are not included; those are separate. And then back here is a USB cable, which we're not going to use right now, and then the device itself, which has some bubble wrap. Just a little side note: the newer versions do not come with bubble wrap anymore. I guess they figured they didn't need it. This one does say The Legend of Zelda on it, and that's because I put a sticker. Otherwise, it will be all black with the Retro name and logo on the front. But we'll do a quick spin around. Front we have our Sega Genesis ports, and on the left and right we have our Super Nintendo controller ports. Back is the USB port, and then when you flip it up, you have the slots for the cartridges. And we have 2 buttons. We have 1 and 2. The top button is to do like some type of firmware update. I've never done that. If you accidentally push it, it does not cause any problems. And the lower button is to reset the unit itself. So if you plug it to your computer, you plug a game into it, and it's not detected, you just hit the reset button, you'll be all set. The front slot is for the Genesis, and the back slot is for the Super Nintendo. My lighting is pretty bad, so you probably can't see it too well, but the Sega Genesis slot is quite a bit longer than the Super Nintendo slot. But that is how it works. We'll do a quick demo of it connected to the computer and what you should expect to see on screen when you go through this process. Very simple process. You want to take the included USB cable, plug in a USB port on your computer, and then plug it into the USB port on the back of the device. Your computer will indicate that it has been connected, and you'll get this autoplay pop-up if you're using a Windows computer that you get with any USB device. This one, if you click on it and you open it, you'll find this one file, which is essentially the firmware of the device. There's no game, there's nothing. You know the device is connected, and we're going to go through hooking up a Super Mario All-Stars, so Super Nintendo game, and a Sega Genesis game. This unit can do a Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, so we'll start with the Super Nintendo game, which faces backwards. It's a little weird. My guess is that's the way for the pins line up without having to have everything crisscross and make it more compact, but no problem. So you plug it in, and nothing happens. No worries. There's 2 buttons on the top of the Retro. There is a reset. The button closest to the Genesis port, you push that, front light will flash, and then it will reset, and then it acts like a new device has been plugged up, and now you get your game. As you can see, this is the Super Mario All-Stars game. Its extension is SFC. I'm assuming it stands for Super Famicom. The lower file, the SRM, that may be the save file. I've not had the 1 or 2 times I tried to copy over and save a save file, it didn't work, or the emulator I was using was not able to read it. So it may be a save file, I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, it's right here. You can drag it over and just drop on your desktop, and now you have a digital backup of your Super Nintendo game. And as you can tell, it is 2 megabytes. Mario All-Stars is only 2 megabytes in size. Sounds kind of small for a game that essentially has 4 games built into it. So great value for 2 megabytes. If for whatever reason the cartridge has dirt on it, and it doesn't have to be a lot of dirt, but just enough that the contacts aren't read correctly, it will have it won't say the correct name, and the file size would be a couple kilobytes. And so if that happens, you just unplug it, clean the contacts, plug it back in, and you should be good to go. So that's how a Super Nintendo will operate. Let's unplug it and we'll try Genesis and we'll see how that works. For the Genesis game, I have selected to go with Aladdin. And Aladdin for the Genesis plugs in the front slot on the Retro, and you just plug it in. The label itself is facing you, and again, you hit that reset button. Give it a few seconds for it to reset and the computer to recognize a new device has been plugged in. And now you can see you have Aladdin plugged in. For the Genesis, it is a bin file. Either Aladdin doesn't have a save file. I haven't played this game in a while, so I do apologize. It either doesn't have a save. I don't believe it has save files. I believe it. You get a code when you complete a level, so that's probably why there's not an extra file here. But again, it has the name of the game, so you easily know where it is. You just drag it over, and after a few seconds or a minute maybe, it copies the whole game over, and that's your Genesis game. And all you have to do to play them is you just need to get yourself an emulator, and you can play the games. The neat thing is, if for whatever reason you don't want to put them on your computer or you just want to play your game, you can actually get an emulator, and because it's a readable external device, you just go to an emulator, go open file, and just come over to the Retro and play your game. It'll play right through the system. You don't have to copy it to your computer first. It has 2 Super Nintendo and 2 Sega Genesis ports, so you just plug up and you're good to go. You'll probably have to configure the controllers, but it's built in. It has 4 controller ports on it for easy access, and that's the simple step-by-step process of hooking up a Retro to your PC and copying over your game files. A great way for making a digital backup of all the games you own. If you're into that, I know some people don't like that or don't care about it. I personally like it. I like having a digital backup copy of what I've paid good money for. If for whatever reason this cartridge breaks, I still have my files. And this has been a quick look at the Retro cartridge game ROM dumper. Enjoyed it? Give a thumbs up. But I hope you have a good day. Bye bye.